either the history of Ananda through its music or the essence of Ananda through its music. And tonight we're going to have a theme of using Swamiji's very first 7 songs that he wrote, that he ever composed on his spiritual path. And what a legacy he left all of us in his so many, of over 400 pieces of music. But tonight we're just going to concentrate on how it all began in the very beginning with those first 7 songs. So I'm going to start off with a chant, one of the chants that he would have heard when he was in the ashram with his guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, in the late 1940s. And then we'll progress on to those compositions that Swamiji made of his own. The song is When Thy Song Flows Through Me. Oh, life is sweet and death a dream. Oh, life is sweet and death a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream. Then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then health is sweet, sickness a dream. Then health is sweet, sickness a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then praise is sweet and blame a dream. Then praise is sweet and blame a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me. Oh, life is sweet and death a dream. Oh, life is sweet and death a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream. Then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then health is sweet, sickness a dream. Then health is sweet, sickness a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then praise is sweet and blame a dream. Then praise is sweet and blame a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me. Oh, life is sweet and death a dream. Oh, life is sweet and death a dream. When thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then joy is sweet, sweet for a dream, then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream, when thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then health is sweet, sickness a dream, then health is sweet, sickness a dream, when thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then praise is sweet, and blame a dream, then blame is sweet, and blame a dream, when thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, then life is sweet, and death a dream, then joy is sweet, sorrow a dream, then health is sweet, sickness a dream, then praise is sweet, and blame a dream, when thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, when thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me, when thy song flows through me, my Lord, when thy song flows through me. Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, our friend, beloved God, great gurus of self-realization, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar, and our beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yoganandaji, saints of all religions, dear Swami Kriyananda, we lay the petals of our devotion gently at thy feet. Oh, Swamiji, we thank you for all your gifts, showing us the way to open our hearts through music, through chant, through love. We feel your presence in this music. Thank you for your help at bringing us to God. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So tonight, as I mentioned, we're basing the evening around the very first 7 songs that Swami Kriyananda ever composed. I'm going to let my wife tell a little bit of the story, and then we'll get a chance to sing along with many of these early part of the Ananda history in music.
So, Swami Kriyananda wrote this lovely book, I guess it's a small book.
It's a little book.
A booklet called A Tale of Songs, in which he mentions all the different songs and where he was and what his inspiration was and a little bit about each one. So this first section tonight that we're going to be doing is his first early songs, and there's a really interesting story that goes with that. Well, as we know, he was asked to leave his guru's organization, and all of his guru bhais told him not to talk to anybody. So there he was on his own, trying to think about how to honor his guru's work, have harmony with his brothers and sisters, and spiritual brothers and sisters, and still knowing that he had to share. That was his life. He had to share the joy that he'd found from his master, and he was trying to find a way to do it. So he went away early after he was let go and struggling with that. He took a vacation to Yosemite Valley, which is a very dramatic, picturesque waterfalls, and it's kind of a little like our Himalayas there in the mountains in the United States. And so while he was there, he was sort of giving himself some time to be in nature, relax a little bit, kind of shift gears, tune in to what was trying to happen in his life. And he saw this man strumming his guitar, sitting on the edge of a little canyon, beautiful scenery, very quiet. So he felt like singing, so he went over and he joined him in singing. And the man said, "Well, you have a nice voice. Do you know any other songs?" And Swami thought, well, what could I sing, I know my guru's songs. And the man said, well, we're going to have a little group tonight around the fire. We're all going to sing some songs, so come along. He says, great, I'll come along. So he comes along, and the man says, well, do you know any songs we can sing for the group? And he thinks, I don't know. I know all these Hindi songs because Swami had been in India and he did chanting as he moved around to large crowds of people from Yogananda's chants that he did in the U.S. So he thought, well, that's not appropriate. These people don't know about yoga, or I don't know who they are, where their faith is. I have no idea. I don't want to offend them. So what can I sing? What can I sing? Well, let's see. There's an old Western American...
But don't forget the opera repertoire that he knew.
Right. He grew up with opera, and he knew that singing Italian about losing your love was not going to be great for these campers around the campfire. So then he thought, well, what can I do? Okay. There's a great, very popular American gospel tune from the slaves who used to work out, and they needed to call to God a lot. So there was this popular one, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and some of you might have heard it. I won't do a rendition of it now, but everybody loved it. They thought it was great fun. So Swami thought, this is telling me something. This is a way that I could share Yogananda's vibrations if I could have some music that I could share with him. So someone asked him if he could come to a community hall and sing for a group of people. And he just said yes. But he didn't know what he was going to sing. And he went to his mother's house. He found his brother's guitar there, an old Martin. And he said he didn't know how to play, but he got a book on how to play guitar, so he got a few little chords and strumming going on. And he said these songs just came to him really quickly. He was in San Francisco, going across the San Francisco Bay Bridge, and it was raining, and one song came to him. A whole bunch of songs started coming. Within 2 weeks...
Well, the first one came that first day.
That first day when he met the man.
Coming back from Yosemite.
Yeah.
And then the concert that he was supposed to give was 4 weeks later.
So 4 weeks later. So he had to prepare for this concert. So he learned how to play the guitar in 4 weeks. And these 7 songs came to him as ones he could... he was asked to play for
the Unitarian Church.
Unitarian Church that, he wasn't sure what he could say. Could he say God? What could he say? So he found words that described God. And he went and had all these songs that he was going to sing. So like 100 people showed up. He didn't know there'd be that many. 100 people showed up. He's just barely learning how to play the guitar. And the man in charge wanted there to be this mood atmosphere, like deep, spiritual. So there was one candle burning on the mantle behind where Swami was singing. They turned all the lights off. And he said he needed to see the chords, but he didn't want to be rude. So he just played as it was. But these first 7 songs represent, and then Swami goes on to say in this, as years went by, he saw that these songs, they just came to him. They didn't come from him, he felt, because they just came quickly and they had this uplifted quality. So he just always said that his songs, he just credited God as giving him these songs. They came from God, and he would write them down. He'd hear the melodies. He said the melody is where the vibration and the heart sort of can connect really easily, and then he would struggle a little more to put the words into the melody. But the melody would come as a vibratory upliftment. So these 7 songs we're going to sing.
Okay.
And
You might tell us a little bit about
maybe
what
as
you
we
think
go
they are as they
along,
go.
there could be.
The first that we're going to use tonight is, you'll find if you're here in the room, you'll find it on page 19. It's What is Love? Now, we're going to do them in reverse order. It's kind of like the countdown to get to number 1 in the pop chart. So we're going to do number 7. This is the very last song he wrote just the afternoon of that concert, called What is Love? And I need to get something from the guitar case.
This song, while Biraj is getting that, What is Love? I remember when I first heard this song, I was always interested in love. And I knew there was something better than I saw anywhere in my heart, and I was always looking for it. And when he sang, he calls this a mystical love song. So it's the soul and God. And I thought, he captured it. And he also captured the kind of longing for it.
We'll see how many of the songs I actually play with the guitar, since I don't really play guitar anymore. So some of them will play, and some of them I might just sing.
But you've had more than 4 weeks to practice.
I've had 40 years, but that doesn't make me very good. What is love? Is it only ours? And please sing along if you can have the words with you. What does love whisper in the flowers? Surely we, children of this world, could not love by our own powers. What is joy? Is it just a dream? Or does joy laugh in every stream? Are the clouds mindless after all? Or is joy all nature's theme? God is dead, so men say. Can't they see all life's his play? Not a church binds him as its own. Not a creed makes him fully known. Foolish we, if we limit him. Every atom is his throne. What is love? Is it only ours? Or does love whisper in the flower? Surely we, children of this world, could not love by our own powers. What is love? What is love? Is it love we touch in the flowers?
Now, there are many places in Ananda's world and on YouTube and lots of opportunities to hear this music done exquisitely well in choirs with...
Is there a
I'm
because
simply
of,
saying that the warbling, it's a little more like a campfire
There you
tonight than
go.
it
We're
is.
around a campfire
But we're a
tonight.
good-spirited group, and that's the main important thing.
Right,
But if you
so-
are interested in really diving into the refinement of Swami's music, I encourage you to look online. What is love?
This is probably how it sounded that afternoon that he just wrote them. It's probably I'm trying to bring
We're
forth
going
that
way back.
vibe, that bob.
If you're seeking freedom. Okay. So for the Unitarians, he wrote, well, let's see, especially speaking of the United States of America, talking to people, what do people really love? Well, freedom is one of the things that people recognize as important. Freedom of religion, freedom to pursue your own path without being too hampered by governments, which is not possible, but at least as much as possible have the freedom to chart your own course and work with your willpower and make things happen and rise to the top. All of those freedoms are quite valued everywhere, and the United States of America and India have fought for those freedoms quite a bit. So he thought, okay, maybe I'll sing about freedom. So this song is called If You're Seeking Freedom, and he wanted people to know what true freedom is.
So it's on page 10 if you're in the room with the choir booklet. If you're seeking freedom in a revolution, if you're seeking freedom, you won't find it there. For once the guns stop blazing, you'll find it amazing how the world can drag on just as before. If you're seeking freedom in a marble mansion, or if you're seeking freedom, you won't find it there. For even when it's sunny, you'll be counting money, keeping up that showcase your face lined with care. And if you're seeking freedom on a throne of power, or if you're seeking freedom, you won't find it there. For though men all obey you, what if they betray you? Tense you'll be and waiting you goes everywhere. But if you're seeking freedom, cast away desires. Why barter like a beggar? You've wealth everywhere. For when you buy it, grasp and you deny it. Freedom can't be hoarded, it's free as the air. And if you're seeking freedom, seek it on the mountains. God's sunlight on your shoulders, the wind in your hair. For there's no one can mold you, boss about or mold you. Once your heart is free, you'll be king everywhere. For once the wild beast mold you, there's no one can hold you. Once your heart is free, you'll be king everywhere. Let's try that one more time. For there's no one can hold you, boss about or mold you. Once your heart is free, you'll be king everywhere. Ha ha. Go there. No. Number 6. What is number 6? Should be Going Alone. Is that what it looks like?
I have number 5, but it's
okay. Okay. This is the truth. Some men call it progress one.
Yeah. So in this song, Swamiji said, the theme was inspired by the great Bengali poet Rabindranath Tagore, Akla Cholo. How do you say it? Akla Cholore. Go on alone. So, he writes in here a little footnote. I also was moved by the oppressive influence of fellow disciples who wanted to enclose our Guru's teaching in a narrow box of sectarianism. The song was written as a declaration of personal freedom of conscience. Whereas others wanted me to think as I was supposed to think, I had to be true to myself and to my own convictions.
Sounding right? Why not? Oh, I see. Huh.
Do it a cappella.
Hang on a minute, I'm getting out of tune. Just tell them a little more about the song while I make sure this is...
Going on alone. So oddly enough, Swamiji, of course, was given the mission to start World Brotherhood colonies from his guru, which he did. So there's always this energy of harmonizing, working cooperatively, cooperative obedience even to the leader of the whole work. But being a theme song entitled Go On Alone sounds a little bit different than you would think of as a community. But to have a community, what Swamiji always encouraged, a community of individual souls who think for themselves, act on their own initiative, are creative, and cooperate together, that it can be a dynamic, growing thing, not a static, follow the rules kind of place. That was not his way at all. So everybody has to go on alone. I mean, the soul and God there's just an aloneness to our soul's existence that only relates to God in the deepest of ways. So that's our first relationship, and then everything else comes out of that. We do our best to be in harmony, but we need to be true to what we feel God is calling us. Be willing to take advice, to be open to suggestions, to rethink original principles, as Swamiji said, so you don't just get on a course and ignore everybody. But it's an intuitive listening that has to do with how does it echo around you through others you respect, but how does it do with your inner attunement with God? What is your real path? And sometimes you do have to go on alone where others won't agree. But, you're never really alone. And you're in good company with Swami, who knows that's what it takes.
Okay. This is on page 6. Some men call it progress, down with those who doubt. Join the causes others join and shout when others shout. Sing it with us. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. Some men lack the daring ever to be free. They shun the heights and cloud the depths and court security. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. Cowards see but pride in singularity. Oh, never mind if men are wrong, so long as they agree. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. Claim the power within you, error to defy. The world may change or disappear, but truth can never die. Come, you're a man, no passive stone. Stand up and call your soul your own. Go on alone, go on alone. Banish weakness, go on alone. Go on alone, go on alone. Don't look back, just go on alone. So that was number 5 on the hit parade. And let's see what number 4 is. So actually, the first 5 were all done in just a day or two, weren't they? And then the sixth and seventh came a month later, just the day of the concert. But the first 5 came very quickly.
So this next song is entitled Brothers, and Swami said he wrote it because he'd already traveled through many lands as a child. His father was moved around Romania, different places in Europe. He went to school in Switzerland, England, the United States, and he'd been in India by now for a while. So he traveled in Mexico, a few other places. So he'd been around, he'd seen different cultures, different looking people, different sounding languages, but he realized that he experienced that they all basically wanted the same thing, that there was a common thread that kept all of humanity together, and that was wanting happiness and freedom and ending of sorrows and suffering and pain, and that there was more in common that people had all around the world than the differences of their diets, their foods, their skin, their hair, their shape, their rituals, any of the things that make a culture unique unto itself are all very outward when you think about what the heart and soul of every human being and the similarities they share with their journey.
I've lived in many countries and mixed with many men. I've shared their days of sunshine, gone with them in the rain. The fires at evening said we were brothers. The fires at evening said we were brothers. A soldier I saw weeping beside a dying friend. My officers had said I must hate him till the end. But seeing his grief I knew we were brothers. But seeing his grief I knew we were brothers. A man sat on a doorstep to see the children play. The gentle way he smiled there would charm your fears away. A stranger he, but love made us brothers. A stranger he, but love made us brothers. One day I climbed a mountain with friends of other lands. The words we used were different, but joy one understands. Our gladness in God's world made us brothers. Our gladness in God's world made us brothers. Though words and customs vary like waves upon the sea, one life beneath the surface binds everyone to me. Who knows the truth knows all men as brothers. Who knows the truth knows all men as brothers. Then, brothers, why endeavor to set ourselves apart? The fences we've been building squeeze tight upon our heart. The truth that all men are brothers. Come sing the truth that all men are brothers. This next one we're not going to sing.
Okay.
Let me talk about it, if I may.
Sure.
Number 3 on the hit parade of the order in which Swamiji came up with these early songs. Oh, yeah, number 3. Oh, I see. I numbered them wrong in this document. It was called, when it was first written, it was called Stranger in a Strange Land. And we tend to know it today by the title One Day When I Was Walking. You won't find it in your little booklets for a very good reason, that nobody ever sings this song. You know, every composition can't be a top of the charter. And frankly, I've only heard this song sung once or maybe twice in the 40 years I've been with Ananda. I'll read you a little bit of it just so you get a sense for why maybe it didn't top the charts. This is the poetry that he did. The farmer, he sits weeping. A life of dreams has sped. His true love shared it to the end. Now their dog howls by their bed. Young man, go to the farmer, gaze deep into his eyes. Read there the dreams that filled his heart and killed his happiness. For life he thought these meadows would give to be his own, but life he gave not first to them, and life he's never known. For peace he thought these meadows would give to be his own, but peace he gave not first to them, and peace he's never known. For joy he thought these meadows would give to be his own, but joy he gave not first to them, and joy he's never known. Well, as you can see, it wasn't exactly the chipper, perk up your mood kind of poetry, and so I'm not going to sing it for you. So let's go on to what I think is actually the number 2, which would be...
Swamiji wrote an interesting song that we sing when we want to just have fun and be playful and dramatic, and it's called The Blues.
The non-blues. The
non-blues, it's called. And in that song, he has this line. He says, he's down in the dungeon, and somebody says, you got the blues. No, he said, I've got the blue, because one's all I can take, only one blue. And I think that may have been Swami's One Blue song that he wrote.
So this is actually number 2 in the very second song he ever wrote.
This song, I think, appeals to many of our devotee hearts. You're born into a family, you have the loving, challenges and love and all of that is. You look around, and at some point you start to ask this question. Okay, this is happening, and they say I'm supposed to do that, and this is that way, and this is that way. But then the question for many of us is why? Why do we do it? Why is this happening? Mother, I'm sure that's a question that mothers have had to attend to millions of times through time when the child said, Mommy, why? Well, just because. And then everybody's mother had their own way of stopping the conversation because mothers are busy. They can't answer every single question that a child has all day long, especially the questioning ones. So my mother's favorite was, one way she'd have is let's see, she'd say, if we wanted to corner her into a decision. And the other one, if we kept asking why, we'll learn about that later. She'd have a way to just placate us. Well, we'll talk about that later. So I think we asked Divine Mother, why? I had a lot of whys when I was a child. Why do people suffer? Why are we supposed to go to church? Why did this happen and that happen? Why, Mommy? Why? And so this is a really good song for a devotee to ask when we start asking those questions.
Why? But you're not going to find it in your book.
Don't have it there? Okay.
Yeah, it's not a
This is more
song
story
often.
song,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a story. It's a story. It's a ballad, really. There lived a tender maid in a far-off country. The strangeness of this wood made her sigh. Her friends asked their fathers for money and clothes, but all she could ask was why. She saw the solemn clouds gathered watching a rainbow. The bright rays of the joy filled the sky. Her teachers explained it all wisely her way, but still her heart wondered why. She saw the silent stars thrill the night with their gladness. They seemed some wondrous truths to imply. Her elders all slept, but the magic of light awoke her to ponder why. She saw her mother smile as she tended her baby, a widow weep that love had to die. The joy of new friends and the sadness of parting, all these made her ask God why. One night into her heart stole the secret of oneness, the bond not even time can untie. For love then possessed her and made her his own. In love she at last learned why.
Reminds me of that short story Swami wrote, The Land of Golden Sunshine.
Right.
Isn't it? Beautiful.
You actually have time if you want to summarize that. We've only got one more song and a couple of chants. Why does that remind you of it?
Well, it's kind of the story. There's a... It's set in England during the time when a lot of people were working, just sewing things, just seamstressing, sitting in
Early Industrial Revolution.
early industrial revolution, sitting in one room with 6, 7, 8 women just stitching all day, and cold, without enough heat in the room, and damp as it can be in London in the cold season, and just miserable lives for the most part. And the only light was on the day off, when you went home and you could just sleep all day. That was the highlight of these women's lives. And this one woman, she was very kind, and she thought of others, and maybe she was a little more evolved than the others, but you couldn't really tell in the beginning. But she went home, and during one of her Sundays, I guess it was, a day off when she could just rest, she looked up, and there was a light of the sun that came in. And she looked up and opened her eyes and really tuned into that light, and it turned into a form, and it became the Sun King. And the Sun King
The man of golden sunshine.
The man of golden sunshine. The man of golden sunshine sort of opened his arms like this, and this beautiful light came out of his hands and it surrounded her, and she felt lifted up in this unearthly, heavenly kind of light, and she felt so happy and so loved, so at peace, so joyful, completely like opposite from her everyday life. And she just stayed there for a little bit, and then she started thinking, oh, I have to go to work tomorrow, or some such thought, and she brought herself back into her normal reality, and the sun, man of golden sunshine was gone. And this happened several times. The light would keep coming. She would spend a few more minutes in the light. It would surround her a little more. She would be uplifted. But then she'd think, oh, but I'm not worthy of that light, or I couldn't leave the people at work because they would miss me. So she goes through the things we might go through. And then finally, after several of these, she realizes it's not this world is not for her. She's not really helping anybody around her, and so she shouldn't just stay for them. She should, and she does, and opens her heart to be able to just go be with the man of golden sunshine and live in that reality and that consciousness of the light. So we've done it as little skits, and
it's a full dramatized play.
Yeah, it's a very short play, but I remember one of our early attempts, it's like if you were children, I don't know if you ever did this, but we would have plays in the backyard. Everybody would put on some kind of a costume, and we'd play things and make up stories and act them out a little bit as children do. And at Ananda, we would do that. We would have no money for costumes or lights or anything to make it really any kind of professional. But we had a few lights, I guess, a few spotlights. And so the first time this was acted out, I remember our friend Ramurti, who was in India for a while, Ramurti's a big man. He's a big man. And so Asha has ever been our costumer extraordinaire. And she found some opalescent sheets of opalescent sparkles, the kind you might trim something with in a very subtle way, because it's a lot of sparkle, a lot of light, but like opals, like little scales of opals, just a solid thing. And it was a huge piece of fabric that she got. And when it came time for the man of golden sunshine to appear, somebody put the funky little spotlight overlight probably up in a corner, and Ramurti walked out with his arms out to his sides, and it looked like he had an opalescent shower curtain on him. It was just this huge presence, of the light shimmering on him, and it was just an image that stays. Visuals are so powerful. I mean, to this day, I remember the feeling of him walking out with the light shining on that opal costume. Anyway, it's a beautiful story and ends well, and easy to dramatize because it's a lot of dark and light. It's dark, gloomy, cold, wet, and then it's a little bit of warmth, and then it's sun bursting forth, and love, and yeah. Anyway.
An early one of Swami's writings.
Was it his first
I don't know.
that he wrote?
I don't know. I don't know the order of his writings.
Yeah, I don't know about
But
his
it was,
plays.
he has about 4 possible plays, and this is one of them. Yeah. Okay, how about the very first song that he wrote as he drove across or he composed in his mind as he drove across the San Francisco Bay Bridge.
This is number 1, the first song. So he was driving back from Yosemite, 1964, and he says, "I wish I kept the paper napkin on which I wrote it." So he was just driving, and he just needed something to write because it just came to him.
He pulled over to a fast food restaurant on the side that served milkshakes, and they had a napkin, and he got that, and that's how he wrote down what had come to him as he drove across the bridge.
Yeah, and this again, the soul's longing, so beautifully, and so much about Divine Mother.
Farther away than the stars. Again, you won't find it in your book. It's very deep, but very, very much reminding us of how deep Swami had already gone in his spiritual search when his very first song composition of 420 that ended up coming out, he had gotten. He didn't learn his depth as he wrote songs. He started this deep because this was the very first. I have a love who's far away, far away, far away. I have a love who's far away, farther away than the stars, and yet she's stolen my heart away, heart away, heart away, and yet she's stolen my heart away, farther away than the stars. Keep me not bound, no, teach me to fly far from earth's madness, free ere I die. Keep me not bound here, teach me to fly farther away than the stars. There's nothing here nearly so dear, nearly so dear, nearly so dear. There's nothing here nearly so dear as her laughter away in the stars.
Sometimes in the world when we are having a good period, a happy time, joy, experiencing the wonders of nature or anything of this world, anything in God's world, any wholesome, beautiful, wonderful thing in God's world, sometimes I think, oh, am I going to get attached to that? There's the devotee always wants to be vigilant. Am I attached to that? Am I attached to that person, that, this, that? And then I remember, okay, what are those moments when I've had the very best meditation? Those little precious seconds and moments. Would I trade that for any of the nicest experiences of this world? And the more we allow Divine Mother to take us to those deep places, we feel more confident of who we are, why we're here, where we're going. And it is to that land of golden sunshine in perfect freedom and joy. And nothing in this world will tempt us. As Yogananda said, when ecstasy comes, everything goes. It all drops away. You don't want to cling to anything less when there's something more. So we just keep fueling those meditative moments so that the something mores can build up. And then the things that don't serve us start to drop away. The things that do serve us will drop away. The things that we treasure the most will drop away. But if we know the true reality of our souls, we don't have to be attached or sorrowful when change comes. So
let's use this last chant, beautiful chant of our gurus, to take us into a meditation. We'll be here for an hour. Feel free to stay as much or as little of it as you wish. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee, I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen to my heart.